County. When I address each of your cases, please remember these following rights. First, you have the right to remain silent. Anything that you choose to say during this virtual, recorded, and live stream proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. If you have any questions or any comments, please wait till you get a chance to speak privately with your attorney. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. Today, when I address your cases, I will let you know what is your new case number, the charges brought against you, to set a bond, to appoint counsel where required, and also to give you a new court date if applicable. For those of you who received a cash bond or a surety bond or who have any other holds, your next court date will be April 16th, 2026. April 16th, 2026. That will begin at 9 o'clock. That will also be a virtual proceeding. So for those of you who plan to attend on April 16th, please make sure you obtain the Zoom link from the clerk's office. All right, courtroom 2, who shall we begin with?
We'll start with 16, Mr. Lewis.
Okay. This is Charles Edward Lewis, accused of battery, family violence, and 2 counts of simple battery, family violence, case 26 CR 2156Y. Who is Ms. Stallwood?
Sure, Honor, one moment.
And Judge, this is going to be a co-defendant case with Wesley Hayes. He was heard on Wednesday. Did you work Wednesday? Were you the judge on SEA?
I was working on Wednesday, but not on this calendar. But
Okay.
so you can refresh my memory what if you want to go into that. But meanwhile, let me just hear the GCIC, Ms. Stallwood.
Of course.
Yes, Your Honor. He has 3 cycles total. There is an 81 conviction for attempted burglary, and the last date of arrest was February the 11th of 2020 out of Porterdale, Georgia for DUI and hit and run. The recommended level is level 2.
Okay. Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge. So Hayes, the co-defendant, and this defendant, Lewis, who's the boyfriend of the victim, Zoe Kirkland, were kicking her, punching her, and stomping on the street. So other people who saw this called the police. Mr. Lance Hall was a victim. He just said he observed these 2 males punching and kicking her repeatedly from his apartment. And then once they spoke with Miss Kirkwood, she tried to leave the incident as soon as they were done hitting her, but they closed the door, caught her arm in the door, then he got out and continued punching her over the door. We have not been able to speak with her, but considering this violence alleged, we're asking for a $3,500 good bond, a $2,500 on count 2, and $2,500 on count 3 for a total of $8,500. With conditions no further contact with Zoe Kirkwood.
Right. Was there a stay away? I don't see a stay away with regards to Mr. Oh, there was 306 Skipper Place.
Skipper Place, correct.
All right. Mr. Alves?
Yes, Judge. Good afternoon. I'm here on behalf of Mr. Lewis. While the state was discussing the allegations, I did look at the order granting bond for Mr. Hayes. The amount set in that matter is $1,000. Judge, we'd ask the court, out of an abundance of fairness, since these are co-defendants, to issue a similar bond in that matter. I believe count 1 was $500 and count 2 was $500. The defense would be asking for $1,000. And Mr. Lewis is 68 years old. He's been living here in Georgia for the past 8 years. He, per our conversation, Judge, he is the sole renter listed at the 306 Skipper Place address. No other individuals on the lease, as far as what I know at this point in time, Judge. He has resided there for the past 3 years. He was just doing a service to the victim, allowing her a place to stay until this unfortunate ordeal occurred. He did reach the 11th grade. He did serve in the Marine Corps for approximately 1 year. However, he did receive a hardship discharge. At this point in time, though, he is not currently gainfully employed, which would affect his ability to post money for a significant bond. He is on disability as a result of a spinal cord related issue, Judge. And given the fact that he does have a 3-cycle history, I would argue that the $1,000 would be fair in this matter, Judge.
Okay, and Mr. Alves, this is a co-defendant case. These are not cross defendants. Did the PD's office represent Mr. Hayes on Wednesday?
I believe, yes, my apologies, Judge. I believe we did. However, my supervisor is taking care of the conflicts with this matter. So after today, this individual will likely be referred to ARPD for conflict counsel.
Okay, so y'all are taking care of the assignment of conflict counsel?
My apologies. I think I misunderstood, Judge.
If he's supposed to be represented by conflict, I'm just curious why you were advocating for Mr. Lewis.
Well, Judge, typically, and again, my apologies, I'm stepping in here short notice for state court. At least when I was working in Superior Court, Judge, we would represent individuals as needed for the initial first appearance, and then after that, we would then send the referral to
All right, I just want clarity. Ms. Kim, is your
Yes.
office then going to take care of the appointment of conflict?
Yes, Your Honor. We will.
Okay, just wanted to be sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
On the battery family violence, that's going to be 1,000 surety bond. Simple battery, 500 each. Mr. Lewis has a $2,000 surety bond. No further contact with Zoe Kirkwood, and to stay away from 306 Skipper Place in Northwest Atlanta. He's allowed to return to the location one time only with a police officer. If Zoe Kirkwood has vacated the premises, he can return to the property. But if she's still occupying the premises, then he would need to file the appropriate dispossessory action to have her removed from the property. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. And his next court date is going to be April 16. Thank you.
All right, next we got number 31, Mr. Watkins. Here we go. Come on.
Your Honor, I'm sorry for the interruption, Your Honor. That Mr. Watkins is Miss McLeod's case, and she's on. I'm sorry, I didn't see her down there.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Marie McLeod is here for Mr. Battle.
Thank you so much. Okay. Position 31, State versus Aquarius Watkins. Mr. Watkins has got 2 counts of simple battery family violence, 1 count of disorderly conduct, and 1 count of trespass from April 1st, 2026, under accusation 26 CR 2177J. Any priors, Ms. Talbot?
Yes, Your Honor. He has 33 cycles. There's an open case 21 SC 179358 for aggravated assault, strangulation, cruelty to children, 3rd degree. And there's also an open CIT case 22 CIT 000260 for driving while license suspended or revoked. There's a 2019 NOLO for disorderly conduct, a 2020 speeding and driving without valid license, a 2020 failure to have license on person and driving without a valid license, and 2 convictions outside of the 10-year period. There's a 2020 FTA out of Fulton and 5 outside of the 10-year period. The recommended level is level 3.
Mr. Scirocco, yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon. This was the April 1st incident, so just 2 days ago. It was at 320 Fairburn Road. And the victim here, Miss Aisha Wells, who's been dating the defendant for over 10 years. Is her ex-boyfriend, had been dating him for over 10 years, and they were living together, had slapped her in the face. They got into an argument over the girlfriend, her new girlfriend was over at the house, and she was sitting on the chair, and that's when he slapped her. This was across from her daughter at the time, and he proceeded to then kick everyone out, lock them out, and the daughter had to climb through the window and open up the door to let the victim back in, at which point the defendant was walking around with a kitchen knife and then was observed on video that was recorded by the daughter going up to the victim here, Miss Wells, and pushing her off the chair where she was sitting. The open case, the aggravated assault, family violence, strangulation, and 5 counts of cruelty to children in the third. That is under case ending in 9358. That is against the same victim as here, Your Honor, Miss Aisha Wells, for strangling her with his forearms in the presence of 5 minor children. He is in violation of his $15,000 straight bond, the conditions being no further contact and stay away. Same address. And there's the NOLO that I see on file, 19 SC 1653204, disorderly conduct, was pled down from aggravated assault, family violence, and that was against the same victim as here, Miss Aisha Wells, for strangling her. So we have that. We have a number of FTAs. I see 6 most recently in 2020. We are extraordinarily concerned for her safety. There is a massive risk of reoffense here, and also a risk of failing to appear. The state's recommending an $8,000 cash bond on this case, $3,000 on each simple battery, family violence, and $1,000 on the disorderly conduct and criminal trespass each. We are recommending FIB if he does bond out, no further contact with Aisha Wells or any children of Aisha Wells. Stay away from the apartment complex at 320 Fairburn Road Southwest in Atlanta, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. If we could please sound for Ms. Wells.
All right, Aisha Wells, if you're on Zoom and you'd like to chime in, this is the time to start your video and unmute your screen. All right, Ms. Wells, you need to unmute if you want to chime in. Please ask the driver to stop the car as well. No? All right. Ms. McClellan?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 48 years old. He tells me that Miss Wells and himself have been in a relationship for over 15 years. He tells me that sometimes there are some issues when she's offered medications, and this was what was happening on that particular day. He is surprised that the police were called to the house because he maintains that they were not even really in any kind of real argument as such. He was just trying to calm her down. Your Honor, he is currently unemployed, so he's not in a position to pay for bond, never mind a cash bond. So I would ask the court to give him a surety bond because I understand that he probably does not qualify for a signature bond. So as low as possible surety bond, or if the court feels that it should be a cash bond, then a very low cash bond. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. On each count of the simple battery, that's going to be 2,000. And each disorderly conduct is 1,000. The criminal trespass is 1,000. This is a $6,000 surety bond. If he didn't understand it from his felony case, I hope he understands it now. He is to have no contact with Aisha Wells. If she comes over for a social visit, he has the complete right to slam the door shut in her face and lock all the windows. He is to stay 200 yards away from her and wherever she's physically located. So he can't go to her home, he can't invite her into his home, and he cannot be within 2 football field lengths of her physical presence. He's also to have no contact with any children that he shares with her. If he wishes to have contact with any children that he shares with her, he has to file a legitimation case and obtain a court order to legitimize the children as well as to get a court-ordered parenting plan. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and his next court date is April 16. Thank you.
Your Honor, could you please say what his bond was, the full amount? You had frozen when you said the amount of the bond, so I didn't hear.
6,000 surety.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank
And
you.
Your Honor, as for that is her address, the 320 Fairburn Road.
Oh, that's her address.
That's
Well,
they were living there together. That's why we're recommending a stay away.
my goodness. Okay, so he needs to stay out of 320 Fairburn Road in Atlanta, Georgia. I thought she was over there, but no, she lives there. So he needs to make sure that he stays 200 yards away from that location. No one-time visits at all. He was already told that back in, I think it was 2023 or 21. So he already had ample notice that he was never supposed to be at the property. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Law, if they could do bottlenecks, Ms. McLeod is traveling out of town. And that's her, I think that's her last client.
Deputy, do you have that individual in the?
Actually, I have another one. I also have Glenn, Xavier Glenn.
All right. Who do we have at the present time?
Number 3, Mr. Battle.
This is Santonio Battle, accused of violations of rules pedestrian and roadway and misdemeanor possession of marijuana, April 1st, 2026. Case is 26 CR 2165E. Any priors in this battle? Stall, excuse me.
That's okay. Yes, Your Honor. He has one adult prior arrest. There is an open case out of the city of Atlanta for willful obstruction. That arrest date was February the 26th of 2025, and the recommended level was level 2.
Yes, Tucker?
Yes, Judge. He's also co-defendants with position number 9. In this case, on April 1st, officers were patrolling the area of 10th and Techwood Drive, you know, where the water boys always are, and they were walking through the streets. Search into incident to arrest, found a little bit of marijuana. The bond has already been set at 600 on each count, so that's 1,200 total. We're just asking that it remains the same.
What is his other case? He was just in jail on February 26th. What's that other case number? Should be 26 CR.
Yeah, let me pull it up. It might not have been on his GCIC because I do not have a note of
booking number 2503543. I don't think it was accused. So he was in custody for willful obstruction of an officer. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was handled as a booking, like the case wasn't accused.
That is correct, Your Honor. He tells me that that's his only arrest, that obstruction case.
Well,
yes. So it looks like he bonded out on it, but it's true. I'm not seeing a case. I'm not seeing a case accused.
Your Honor, he bonded out on the pre-filed number and then they sent it over to state court. So
okay, so I guess
go back and find that, you know, look for that case.
Yeah, that's what I recollect. I just vaguely recollect issuing a bond, and I believe it was a pre-accusation case. So, Ms. Tucker, your office can do whatever it like with the prior case, but anything else to add, Ms. Tucker?
Nothing further from the state.
All right, Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm asking for a signature bond through the jail for my client. He's gainfully employed. He has a job working at the airport. He tells me that he has 2 children that he's supporting. And he also tells me that he was just, he was just walking, and the officer, it just sounds like there was no real basis for this arrest. The charge is pedestrian in roadway. He said he was just walking. And it sounds to me, Your Honor, this is one of those incidents where police officers see 2 young men and figure they're probably up to no good, to let me check them, and they weren't really doing anything. So I'm asking for a signature bond through the jail for him.
Right, yeah. Walking, but not in the middle, according to the officer's warrant. So
he denies that he was in the middle of the road, Your Honor.
All right. On the pedestrian roadway is 600. The misdemeanor possession of marijuana is 500. This is $1,100 surety bond. And use the sidewalks would be my bond requirement. And also no alcohol, no illegal drugs, and no weapons. Marijuana is still illegal, so this will be his second case with state court within 3 months.
I understand, Your Honor, but I don't know. I just feel that a signature bond would be more appropriate, Your Honor, because he really tells me he was surprised when they were stopped by the officer because he was just heading towards the store. That's what he told me.
Understood. And when we go to a preliminary hearing, maybe we can see what really happened. Thank you.
I understand, Your Honor. It's just that he has to come out of pocket, and he does have 2 young children that he's supporting.
Well, like I said, use the sidewalk and no marijuana. Thank you.
Number 10, Mr. Glenn.
Ten. Is that your other client, Xavier Glenn, Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Okay. Mr. Glenn is accused of 2 counts of battery family violence, 1 count of cruelty in the 3rd degree, and simple battery family violence from October 15th last year. His accusation is 26 CR 2181H. Ms. Talbot?
Yes, Your Honor. He has 10 adult cycles. There are 2 active warrants, one from the city of Atlanta for simple assault. Date of that warrant is October 20th of 2025. One from Fulton County for a probation violation. Date of that warrant is October the 15th of 2025. There is an open case out of Blue Ridge, Georgia State Patrol for possession of marijuana less than an ounce. That arrest date was March the 20th of 2026. He's currently on probation, case number 19 SC 168319 for aggravated assault, possession of firearm or knife during commission. There is another open case, 22 SC 181479 for aggravated assault. There's a 2020 conviction for criminal trespass and disorderly conduct, and a 2016 first offender for possession of firearm or knife during commission and aggravated assault. The recommended level is level 3.
All right. Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge. This did occur in October of 2025, but Cassandra Hightower said her live-in boyfriend punched her in the face in the morning. She did go to work afterwards because she couldn't wait for police. When she got home, there was an argument where he threw an item at her, so she threw something back. Then he football tackled her to the ground, got on top of her, and was hitting her. Her 11-year-old son, Chase Hightower, tried to stop it, and the defendant hit him. And all of this was done in front of their other juvenile child. So Cassandra had a swollen left cheek, scratches near her neck, chin, and ear. Chase had facial swelling near his nose. So there were visible injuries. You also heard that history. 3 aggravated assaults, at least 1 conviction. So we are asking for a $5,000 good bond on each count of battery family violence, $2,500 on each of the remaining charges for a total of $10,000 surety, with no further contact with either of the victims, Cassandra Hightower or Chase Hightower, and to stay away from this location, which is 3000 Stone Hogan Connector, as well as to have absolutely no firearms on him while on probation.
Is there a Cassandra Hightower on Zoom who wants to chime in? This will be the time to unmute and start your video. All right, Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. I noticed that the state has said that he has convictions, but I thought I only heard 1 conviction, and that was for criminal trespass. I could be wrong. I also heard pretrial said that he was recommended for a level 2. So I would ask the court to consider signature bond for him at level 2. And if the court is inclined to do so, then I would ask for as low a surety bond as possible. He tells me that he does have these children that he supports, Your Honor, and he wants to be able to get out of jail so he can get back to work. So I would ask the court to take all of that into consideration, and also that this happened some time ago, several months, and he tells me that he's had no issue with her, and he also tells me that they have been getting along just fine. Nothing further on.
He's got a probation hold, and the case number is 26 PV 000732. This is a felony probation hold. That unfortunately is still holding him at the jail. On each count of the battery, family violence, the bond is going to be set at 2,000. The cruelty is going to be 500, and the simple battery is going to be 1,000. This is going to be a 4,500 surety bond. No further contact with Cassandra Hightower and Chase Hightower. Stay away from 300 Stonehogan Connector. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. And his next court date is April 16. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. That concludes my business before the court today. I'm excused.
Yes, thank you, Ms. McLeod, and happy Easter. Enjoy
Thank
your
you.
weekend.
Same to you. Thank you.
21, Mr. Scott.
Okay. Brandon Scott? Yes? Okay. Mr. Scott is accused of criminal trespass, case 26 CR 2166G from April 2nd of this year. Any priors?
Yes, Your Honor. He has 23 cycles, currently on probation out of Chatham County for forgery 3rd degree. There's a 2021 conviction out of Chatham County for entering auto, another 2021 out of Chatham County for burglary 2nd degree, another current probation case out of Chatham County for theft by taking, a 2020 conviction out of Chatham County for simple assault family violence, a 2018 conviction out of Chatham County for criminal damage to property 2nd degree, a 2015 conviction out of Chatham for criminal trespass, and a 2015 first offender, also out of Chatham for entering auto. The recommended level is level 2.
Mr. Straoud?
Yes, Your Honor. This was the Georgia Tech incident. The defendant who had been issued a 2-year criminal trespass warning, which roughly a week prior, was found at the 3rd floor of the CRC parking deck on Georgia Tech's property. That's at 750 First Drive in Atlanta. This was at 2:27 in the morning. With his history he does pose a risk to property in the community here, and reoffense. There's other criminal trespass cases that he's had too, but you've heard the entering autos and whatnot. The state's recommending that the bond remains set. It's currently a $1,500 surety. Stay away from all Georgia Tech premises and property in accordance with the active ban. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Scott, is 44 years old. He was born and raised here in Georgia. His major place was actually Savannah. He recently came to Metro Atlanta area because he is from the prison about 3 weeks ago, and he has been residentially challenged. He does not have any employment. He doesn't have any money right now to pay for any bond. So any kind of a surety bond or a cash bond will be like a no bond to him. And Your Honor, he does have a 1 minor child, and I believe that he needs a social worker visit for housing resources and BHET, so that way he can get appropriate help. From level 2 or even signature on by jail.
Anybody responding to us?
The bond is going to be set at a $75 cash bond. He's to stay 200 yards away from the Georgia Tech property in its entirety. So he's not to be anywhere near any property belonging to Georgia Tech. If he happens to be a former alum, he'll just need to wait until this case is resolved before he's allowed back on the property. But in the meantime, he should take note that he has a 2-year trespass warning issued by the Georgia Tech authorities. His next court date is going to be April 16. Thank you.
And incident number 30, Mr. Ware.
And Your Honor, may I make a quick inquiry in between cases?
Sure, Mr. Jimenez, who's your client?
I have an off-calendar issue that I'm happy to wait till the end, but just wanted to make sure if you guys were okay. The chat is disabled, so I couldn't send a message.
Oh, okay. Miss. All right, let's just wait then. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have Joshua Ware, case number 26 CR 2175D. And Mr. Ware, this is an incident from April 2nd, 2026. The charges are discharge of a firearm on or near a public highway or street, reckless conduct, willful obstruction of an officer, 2 counts. Any priors, Ms. Dolan?
Your Honor, he has 2 cycles. There's an active warrant out of Richmond, Texas for a bail secured bond. Date of that warrant is December the 3rd of 2025. There's also an active warrant out of Houston, Texas for an FTA. Date of that warrant is February the 4th of 2026. There is an open case out of Clayton County for hit and run. Arrest date February the 8th of 2026. And an open case out of Cobb County for financial transaction card theft. 2 counts. The arrest date is January the 21st of 2026. The recommended level is level 3.
Mr. Scirocco?
Yes, Your Honor. This was the April 2nd incident at 871 3rd Street Northwest in Atlanta. It's the apartment complex there. I don't have the name of that complex, but the security agent there, Mr. McDonald, had explained that the defendant attempted to enter the building. He wasn't a resident there, gave a random number, and was told that he couldn't come in. He was refused entry, and that's when he pulled out a gun, walked down the street, and fired 2 shots in the air. The shots were heard. The case was called in. The officers who found him, the male matching the description of the defendant, did order him to stop for questioning here, and he just walked away from them following that. They ultimately were able to detain him, and upon a pat down, they found a loaded handgun in his right pocket. And yes, Judge, I did see, with his wanted out of Richmond, Texas, and also wanted out of Houston for failure to appear. He's got a number of presumably open cases here that I'm seeing, Your Honor, and these are from Texas and Georgia. With that failure to appear from Houston, there is he has risk of both FTA and flight here, Judge. He came to here, looks like subsequent to that, tenure in Texas, and he's got a number of presumably open cases. We're recommending, given the risk to the community, this is a public safety case, and Your Honor is aware that we take firearms cases very seriously. We're recommending a $7,000 surety here, $3,000 on each on both the discharge of the firearms on or near a public street and the reckless conduct, as well as $500 for each obstruction charge. We are requesting a social worker visit for BHET. No further contact with Mr. Ronald McDonald. Stay away from 871 3rd Street Northwest in Atlanta. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And if he does bond out, if he's in any possession of any other firearms, we would ask that those be surrendered to the sheriff's office.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, no, my client is 22 young. He has
I'm sorry, Ms. Kim, you're coming in and Ms. Kim, your Wi-Fi is not stable. Your audio is coming in and out.
Okay, let me try with my iPhone, Your Honor. I apologize.
All right.
Thank you.
Ms. Tucker or Mr. Scirocco, if you have Mr. Jimenez's phone number, would one of you be able to contact him to see which case he's talking about? I don't know what case he's talking about.
Your Honor, I'll enable the chat again, you know, everybody, I didn't want the visitors to jump in, so I'll, enable the chat and he can just.
Thank you. Go ahead and enable the chat, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, when the chat feature is enabled, no one can use the chat except attorneys. And if you are inquiring about a particular case, do not use the chat until that case is called. All right, yes, Ms. Kim, can you unmute, please?
My client is only 22 years young, and he has been here in Georgia for 3.5 months. And Your Honor, after 12th grade, he has not been able to get his GED. He is willing to take LAD or as letters program so that way he can get his GED continued. He does have a good mailing address here in Georgia. He has a physical address where he resides with his friend. He has a good email address, phone number. I do understand that he has an outstanding warrant. Because of that, he may be in jail for a long time. So we ask for the lowest possible bond for this case, Your Honor.
All right, and Ms. Kim, the audio is very low. I heard you, but you might want to correct or adjust that, or perhaps adjust the other device. All right? Okay. On the discharge of firearm at or near a public highway or street, that's going to be 3,000. The reckless conduct is going to be 1,500. And on each count of the obstruction, that's going to be 750. His total bond is a 6,000 surety bond. No illegal drugs, no alcoholic beverages, and no weapons and no firearms. He's to surrender all firearms to the authorities for destruction. I know it's a very anti-Texas thing to do, but no guns while you're in Georgia, at least. And you are to have no contact with Mr. Ronald McDonald and stay away from the building. I didn't get the address of the building. I wasn't sure, since apparently he was detained at a Quick Trip.
Right, he was detained down the street. The building address I have is 871 3rd Street Northwest in Atlanta, Judge.
Okay, thank you. He required to stay 200 yards away from that location. His next court date is going to be April 16. Thank you.
All right, next we got 27, Mr. Taylor. Oh, God. Oh, man.
This is James Earl Taylor. Mr. Taylor is accused of criminal trespass from April 2nd, 2026. Did I get that right? Yes. And his accusation number is 26 CR 2169A. Any priors on Mr. Taylor?
Yes, Your Honor. He has 25 cycles, multi-state interaction. There is an active warrant out of Schuler, Nebraska for terroristic threat. Date of that warrant is June the 12th of 2024. There's a 2018 conviction out of Cook County, Illinois for aggravated unlawful use of a weapon on person and armed habitual criminal. There is a 2011 FTA out of Nebraska, 11 convictions outside of the 10-year period. There also appears to be an open case from Olmsted County, Minnesota for obstruction of legal process and theft by taking, use, transfer, or movable prop, no consent. The recommended level is level 3.
Mr. Scaraco?
Yes, Your Honor, and I did see that within his history, he had been sentenced to 3 years imprisonment for aggravated unlawful use of a weapon, and that was in Illinois, as well as an aggravated vehicular hijacking in 2005, for which he was sentenced to 12 years imprisonment. So he spent a lot of the past few decades in jail here, Your Honor, but with that fugitive from justice 2020 arrest out of Nebraska, the wanted out of Nebraska for terroristic threats and acts. He is a flight risk here. It did start out as the altercation, the two males in an aggressive stance at Washington Street and MLK Jr. Drive. And ultimately, we don't have the other individual's name. We didn't proceed on the disorderly conduct for that reason. But bond was originally set at $2,000 total surety. We are asking that there be a $2,000 surety on this criminal trespass here, given his history and the risks associated. Recommending a social worker visit for BHET and housing. Stay away from Martin Luther King Jr. Drive and Washington Street in Atlanta, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
So this is the Georgia Building Authority?
That's what I have, Judge.
Okay. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Taylor, is 50 years old. We do have a good phone number. However, he has been residentially challenged after he got out of the prison. I do agree with a social worker visit for housing resources and BHET. And he has 2 children. He got GED. And yet, other than that, we have no objection to state's recommendation.
And that was $1,000 surety?
Yes, Your Honor.
Stay recommended 2,000, Your Honor.
Oh, we would like to ask for a signature on bond. If Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond because of his criminal histories in other states, we ask for $1,000 surety bond.
$1,000 surety bond. Unfortunately, he's got multiple holds that appear to be multi-state, so I don't know if he has to wait to be extradited. Meanwhile, he definitely can
Am I
speak.
adding deposits credits?
Sorry. Definitely he should speak to a social worker about housing and BHET if it's applicable. But in the meantime, these holds are not going to release him at the present time. His next court date is going to be April 16th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, and he needs to stay away from the Georgia Building Authority location at Martin Luther King Jr. Drive and Washington Street. Yes, those Georgia State Capitol Police and making sure everyone stays beyond the barriers. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is ACDC. Before you, sitting position 26, Ms. Tatnel.
All right. Were they present when the rights were being read?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Judge Lal. This is going to be an announcement for everyone who's at the ACDC location. We're going to be addressing each of your cases which have been recently formally accused by the prosecutor. So when we address your cases, please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. Ms. Edwina Tatnel is accused of theft of services from April 1st of 2026. Ms. Tatnel, you've been advised of your rights. Ms. Talbot, any prior?
I am not.
She's position 26.
Okay, she has 3 cycles. There's a 2012 NOLO out of Athens, Clark County for driving while license suspended or revoked. There's a dormant status case, 26 CR 000404B for criminal trespass and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. The recommended level is level 3.
Could you give me that case number again, please?
Yes, Your Honor, it's 26 CR 000404B as in boy.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Scaraco at the Hard Rock Cafe?
Yes, Your Honor. Roughly 98.25, almost $100 worth of wings and salad and margaritas here that she did not pay for here and claimed someone else did. With that open case that is in dormant bench warrant status, that's for failing to appear for plea and arraignment on March 9th of this year. Rule 9 was issued on the 16th of March. We're recommending $1,000 surety. Stay away from the Hard Rock Cafe at 215 Peachtree Street, Northeast in Atlanta, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Okay. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Miss
Go ahead.
Tatnel is 35 years old, Your Honor. She was born and raised here in Georgia. Your Honor, she has been residentially challenged for last year. She graduated from high school and she was working at the security industry. However, she lost her job about a year ago. Ever since then, she has been very struggling financially, Your Honor. The dormant case that we have, the current current closed case or dormant case, hold case, that one, Your Honor, there was a returned mail. She never got the notice of a hearing because of her homelessness. She didn't get the mail after she got evicted from her place, and that mail was returned to the sender, who was the clerk of the Fulton County State Court. So her public defender for that case will be filing for a motion to set aside the bench warrant. Hopefully she will get her bond reinstated for that case. I asked for signature on bond for this case. She was very, very hungry and she has been struggling a lot financially.
Okay. Unfortunately, because of this new arrest, her $2,000 signature bond from the prior case has been surrendered. So that bond is currently a $2,000 surety. But this case is going to be a $50 cash bond, and she's required to have a stay away from the Hard Rock Cafe at 215 Peachtree Road in Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next court date is April 16th.
Thank you.
And I have that as being Peachtree Street, I believe, in Atlanta.
I just went by the warrant, so if it's different.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I believe there's only one Hard Rock Cafe in all of Georgia, so should not be hard to stay away from.
Okay. Who do we have in courtroom 2?
Mr. Rambus.
It cut out a little bit. Could I get that case, the position number here?
Rambus.
I'm still not hearing it.
Yes, 18.
18. Thank you.
Kendall Rambus is accused of battery family violence from April 2nd of this year, case 26 CR 2164H. Any priors, Mr. Alden?
One moment, Your Honor. Yes, he has 5 cycles, 3 from Texas, 2 from Mississippi. He's currently on U.S. probation for bringing in and harboring aliens. And there's a 2011 FTA from Clay County, Mississippi. The recommended level is level 2.
And I'm sorry, how many cycles did you say he had?
5.
5. Okay, thank you. Mr. Straoud?
Yes, Judge. This was the battery of Miss Chanel Rambus, the defendant's wife, but they're separated. He had been staying at her place for 4 days, and there was a dispute over personal property, at least as the defendant alleges. But he got out of the Waymo and got home and punched her in the face, leaving a bloody laceration to her nose. We haven't spoken with Miss Rambus. We'll continue those efforts at contact, Judge. With his history, we are recommending a $2,000 surety, recommending FIB, as well as no further contact with Miss Rambus. Stay away from that 418 Lovejoy Street Northwest address in Atlanta, where she resides, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Waymo. Okay. Miss Kim? Oh,
Yes,
I'm sorry. Miss Chanel Rambus, if you on Zoom and if you want to chime in, this is the moment to do so. All right. Sorry about that, Miss Kim. Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Rambus, is 38 years old. He was born in Indiana. He has been here in Georgia for the last 4 years. I believe that they are legally married. However, they have been separated for about 6 months, and they do have 2 children. 1.5. They have an 11-month child, and another one is on the way. I believe his wife and my client are. My client has no objection to no contact, stay away from her place since they don't live together as long as he has a third-party transfer for his children. My client is currently gainfully employed as a truck driver, and it was my client actually who called the police. He was defending himself, trying to basically make things better. However, he's the one who got arrested. He graduated from high school. He also has a CDL to drive as a truck. He also has an associate degree in computer science. Your Honor, we would like to request for signature on bond. I believe he doesn't have any violence history. This is probably his first violence history. We ask for signature on bond for pretrial. Thank you.
So the allegation is protection of property. I'm not sure where self-defense plays in according to the warrant, but bond is set at 3,500. It's a signature bond through pretrial services, level 2. He will report to pretrial services twice a month, providing that he resolves any holes that he has. I don't see any holes right now on the jailing screen. So in the meantime, he's to have no further contact with Chanel Rambus. And are they in the middle of a divorce case? I do not know. But at the present time, I'm going to require him to stay away from Ms. Rambus. And the visitation with his child will be in accordance with a parenting plan ordered in a divorce case. So either he or Mrs. Rambus can file a divorce case, and he can get a temporary parenting plan through a divorce or separation action. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. And I'll need him to do 12 anger management classes while he's out on his signature bond. He can do them once a month. He can do them twice a month, whichever he likes, but he'll be subject to 12-month monitoring with pretrial. That doesn't mean that your case gets closed out in 12 months, or that doesn't mean you can have contact with Mrs. Rambus after 12 months. That simply means that after 12 months, if all goes well, you don't have to continue reporting to pretrial, but your case remains open and active, and your bond order remains open and active unless amended. Thank you. Oh,
Will
and
Your Honor
no,
be ordering the stay away from her residence?
oh yeah, sorry about that. Stay away from 418 Lovejoy Street in Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Number 19, Ms. Reese.
Cortez Reese is accused of simple battery from March 31st of this year. Accusation 26 CR 2155C. Ms. Tallman?
Yes, Your Honor. He has 25 cycles total, 12 from the state of Alabama. There is an active warrant out of Cobb County for assault. Date of that warrant is June the 19th of 2024. There's a 2018 NOLO for out of Coweta County for driving while license suspended or revoked. And there are 4 convictions outside of the 10-year period. The recommended level is level 1.
Thank you. Mr. Scarafa?
Yes, Your Honor. I also saw there was an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, possession of firearm or knife during commission case out of 2019. I looked into why that case was null pros, because it was null pros. There was an uncooperative victim, so they couldn't proceed on that. But this was the March 31st incident, 1677 Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway, Northwest in Atlanta. That is the, from my understanding, the Westlake Food Mart. And the victim, Mr. Ankit Bharti, who is on here with us today, is an employee at the store, and he was putting some boxes out of the store into the trash, and that's when the defendant ran inside inexplicably and started to throw punches at him. This was a random act of violence. He did have to go to the hospital for this. We have spoken with Mr. Bharti. He says the defendant ran into the store, started accusing him of something, and defendant kept saying, "You're the one, you're the one." He had no clue what the defendant was talking about, and that is when the defendant started punching him. There were fellow employee that explained they had to call the police on the defendant multiple times in the past. I'm not sure if it's I'm not sure if it's the other employee that helped fend the defendant off here, but he has been told to call the police multiple times in the past, and apparently there's a MH issues, so the police can't do anything from his understanding, and that the defendant he believes the defendant will just be out of custody in a couple days. He did not, excuse me. Oh, he is. We have received a medical release form, so we're gonna get those records from Emory soon. He has no opinion on bond. He is asking for no further contact and a stay away. And if we could sound for him when appropriate, Your Honor, we are recommending that the $5,000 surety that is currently set by the magistrate remains set. This is a public safety case, and this is something that is certainly it certainly could happen again in the future, especially given his history. We're recommending a social worker visit for MH and BH. No further contact with Mr. Aki Barty. Stay away from the Westlake Food Mart that is at 1677 Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway in Atlanta.
Just one second. Sorry about that. Folks, if you're not involved in this case, please make sure that your Zoom panel's on mute. Thank you. Sorry about that, Mr. Scirocco. Go ahead.
No worries, Your Honor. As I was saying, we're recommending a stay away from the Westlake Food Mart at the aforementioned location. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And if we could sound for Mr. Barty, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, sir.
Mr. Barty, if you want to chime in, this is a moment to unmute and start your video. Yes, sir. Did you have something to add?
Yes,
Okay,
actually.
raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, I do.
Yes, sir. What would you like to tell us?
So, this actually happened first time in my life, like someone assaulted me, and I've never been attacked before in my whole life. And it's been 5 years in this country I came here, but when he came, I saw the past incidents that occurred actually with my friend. In DeKalb, he was brutally murdered by someone, the same guy who was homeless. I think you guys remember, who hit my friend multiple times on his head with his hammer, like more than 50 times. So that thing, it keeps coming in front of me, and I'm little frightened, and I don't know what to do right now. I haven't talked about these incidents to anyone, not even to my family, and I don't know what to do right now. I'm literally scared to go in that location, to that area now.
All right. Have you reached out to the victim advocate's office for the Fulton County Solicitor General's?
And not yet. First, I don't know what to do right now because I haven't been out to 2 days.
So I'm asking you, have you reached out to the Fulton County Victim Advocate's office?
Not.
You spoke with Miss Andrews, Mr. Barty.
Oh,
remember
yes.
She called you on the
Yes.
phone. She's our victim witness advocate. I'll have our victim witness advocate division reach out to you again. Certainly.
Okay.
All right. All right. Thank you, sir. Miss Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Reese is 50 years old, and I am sad that what happened to Mr. Barty. However, I don't want that other case to have any prejudice against my client. My client completed his GED 1991, and he used to work as a JNG janitorial worker. However, because of disability, he has not been able to be employed, and right now he does not have any income at this point. He does have a residing address. He's staying with his girlfriend, and he's not residentially challenged. And I do understand that there's a concern for his MH issues. However, it is under the control, and we ask for signature on bond. He has been here in Georgia for more than 30 years, and we ask for, if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, we ask for the maximum $1,000 surety bond. Thanks.
Bond is set at 3,500. This is going to be a surety bond. Next court date is April 16. He is to stay 200 yards away from the incident location at 1677 Donnelly Hollowell Parkway. 200 yards is the length of 2 football fields, so make sure you stay that far away. You're also to have no contact with Ankit Barkley, which means that you stay 200 yards away from him and do not communicate with him and any of his family or colleagues in any way, form, or manner, including phone, in person, through computers and phones, and even on social media. No illegal drugs, no alcoholic beverages, and no weapons. Thank you.
Your Honor, can he have a sheriff's 10% program, Your Honor?
He's got a hold out of Cobb County active warrant. He doesn't qualify for that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Next we got number 20, Mr. Santana.
That was 20.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Rigoberto Santana is accused of theft by shoplifting from March 31st of this year, case 26 CR 2149L. Mr. Santana, you've been advised for your rights. Ms. Stallworth, any priors?
Your Honor, he has 11 prior arrests. There is an open case, 25 SC 005548, entering auto, disorderly conduct, theft of lost, mislaid property, and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. There is also an open pretrial case, 25 SC 005119, which the bond will be surrendered. It's for entering auto. There is a 2024 conviction for criminal trespass and fare evasion. And there's another 2024 conviction for loitering and prowling. He's currently on probation out of DeKalb for criminal trespass. There's a 2024 conviction out of the city of Atlanta for possession and use of drug-related objects. There's a 2024 FTA out of Brookhaven, 2024 FTA out of Fulton, and a 2020.
That's good. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Miss Kim, are you representing him?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I saw in the notes that a Spanish interpreter was required, but you didn't invoke one. So are we good then?
Yes, he was actually born in Puerto Rico. He's a U.S. citizen. He speaks fluent English, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Scirocco?
Yes, Your Honor. This was the theft of wine from the Target at 3660 Camp Creek Parkway in East Point. He's been previously been issued a criminal trespass warning from it was March 6th from a different Target location, South Buckhead, but there's a cumulative theft amount for him among Target locations at $307.72. With his FTAs, the open cases, and I did see a presumably open theft by shoplifting out of DeKalb as well from January of 2025. We're recommending that the $1,000 surety that was set by the magistrate remain set. We're recommending a stay away from all Target locations, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Okay, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Santana is 27 years old, and he has been residentially challenged about a month. He lost his job, and ever since then, he has been having very, very hard time to find a job or any kind of income. After 9th grade, I believe he stopped getting any education. We would like to request for signature on bond. And yet we do understand that he may not be qualified for that because of previous histories and several open cases. We have no objection to $1,000 surety bond. Thanks.
Bond is set at 100. It's a cash bond only. Stay away from all Target stores in the state of Georgia, including Fulton County. And unfortunately, he's got a pretrial bond that's also been surrendered. We will see him on April 16th. And thank you.
Thank you.
And then we got 23, Mr.
23, okay. Calvin.
23 and 24.
Okay, thank you. This is State versus Calvin Stevens. 26 CR 2150Y is position 23 and is accused of theft by taking from March 13th of this year. His second case is 26 CR 2151Y, violations of rules regarding pedestrian and roadway. That's from April 1st, 2026. Any priors, Ms. Stallwood?
Yes, ma'am. He has 3 prior arrests. There is an open case 26 PI 001446, which is under pretrial, and the bond will be surrendered. It's for willful obstruction of law enforcement officer by use of threats or violence, pedestrian and roadway, and unlawful carrying of a weapon. The recommended level is level 2.
Thank you. Mr. Scarapo.
Yes, Your Honor. That first incident here, March 13th, the theft by taking from this year. This was, you're familiar with the Water Boys. This was a Water Boys incident at 10th Street and Techwood Drive in Atlanta, the intersection there. Miss Brianna Strong was driving her vehicle along 10th Street and wanted to assist individuals selling water. In the face of her kindness, she rolled down the window to offer some money, and it was during that encounter that the defendant took her phone and transferred $900 from her Cash App to a different account. The defendant was identified via photograph subsequently, and then the April 1st incident, 2026. At same location, the pedestrian in the roadway, and it is that's the co-defendant case with the other 2 from this calendar, Mr. Terry Glenn and Santonio Battle. I believe both those are on this calendar. But this was, they were observed standing in the roadway. You're familiar with the case facts there, Your Honor. But we have spoken with Ms. Strong in the first case mentioned, Judge. She confirmed the events in the report. She stated she never got her money back, and she hasn't been able to get it from Cash App. She and her kids are new to Atlanta, and they were already struggling when this happened. Defendant took everything she had to her name as far as money goes. And she saw the defendant yesterday, she states, and this would have been 2 days ago, selling water, soliciting water again. And she was able to take a photo of the defendant and send it to the detective. And that's how ultimately the ID was made in the March 13th case. She did not have an input on bond for us, but she does want her money back. She's not on Zoom with us, from my understanding today, as she stated to us, but that other open case, he's arrested for a Water Boys incident from February 20th, 2026, and then fleeing from officers, reaching for a handgun on his person. And that location was it's 166 16th Street Northwest in Atlanta, Judge. That was a different location. It's 2 blocks up from the instant location, the same one for both cases here. And that's along Techwood Drive, essentially. So he is an ongoing nuisance as far as where Techwood Drive intersects with the highway. At this point, this is a public safety case. We are recommending $4,000 surety on the theft by taking and $500 on the pedestrian in a roadway. A total of $4,500. I understand they're separate cases. We are recommending in the first case no further contact with Brianna Strong, and in both cases stay away from that strip of Techwood Drive. We're asking for the stay away to be from 10th Street to 17th Street of Techwood Drive, Judge. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Stephen is 20 years young. He graduated from Culver High School in Atlanta, Georgia, 2023. He worked at UPS and then he lost his job. Ever since then, he's been unemployed about 7 months. He is currently residing with his mother and stepfather and brother, and he does have a good phone numbers. I would like to ask for signature on bond, and yet I do understand that he may not be qualified for signature on bond. So we would like to request that the current bond, $600 security bond for each charge, remain set, Your Honor.
Ms. Kim, I'm not from the warrant. It appears that he's still a student at Carver High School along with the other individual, I believe Miss Kimura Slayton, who he sent the cash to, is accused of sending the cash to. So I'm not sure how you got that he had graduated.
He told me he graduated from high school 2023.
Okay, sounds good. Is anyone here on Zoom for this young man, Calvin Stevens? Yes, no? Okay. On the theft by taking, that's going to be $1,000 cash bond only. And he's to stay away from the entire street that says Techwood Drive between 10th to 17th Street. And he's to have no contact with Brianna Strong. Unfortunately, your signature bond from your felony matter has been surrendered. So whatever that bond is, you would have to post bond for that case as well. With regard to the pedestrian roadway, that's going to be a 600 surety bond. Again, stay away from Techwood Drive from 10th Street through 17th Street. Your next court date for both these cases is April 16th. Thank you.
Next, we have position 13, Ms. Hurd.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello. That would be Ms. Hurd. Allison Eliza Corrine Hurd is accused of battery, family violence, and simple battery, family violence on February 18th of this year. The accusation is 26 CR 2184B. Any prior installment? I'm sorry, you're muted.
My apologies. She has 16 prior arrests. There is an active warrant out of Fulton for an FTA. Date of that warrant is March the 9th of 2026. There is a dormant status case, 26 CR 000085B, cruelty to children first degree, abandonment of dependent child, and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. She's currently on probation for theft by receiving stolen property. There's a 2023 DeKalb case for criminal trespass, a 2016 DeKalb case for purchase, possession, manufacture, distribution, or sale of marijuana, and possession of firearm or knife during commission. There are 2 convictions outside of the 10-year period and an 07 FTA. The recommended level is level 4. Nothing further.
Thank you. Miss, I guess the bond for the FTA is 3,000 surety at the present time. Okay, Miss Tucker?
Yes, Judge, we'd be asking for a $2,500 good bond on the battery family violence and a $1,500 good bond on the simple battery family violence, with conditions to have no further contact with Heaven Hurd and to stay away from 4075 Fox Hunt Lane in East Point. Miss Heaven Hurd is the daughter of the defendant. So there was an argument between them two over the victim sending a text to her father, which led to the defendant striking her multiple times in the head with a phone. It did not leave any injuries, so the victim left. But because it was so cold out, this did occur in January, she tried to get back into the house, called the police, and then when officers arrived, they saw the defendant attacking the victim. Then she fled on foot through the back door, this time leaving her with bleeding from the nose. This victim was slapped in the face, was grabbed, taken to the ground, where the defendant repeatedly struck her, and an unnamed witness did confirm that this happened. So between the violence in the history, as well as you heard, the FTA, the case with the bench warrant is a cruelty in the first. We're concerned about reoffense, about failure to appears, and about violence to this victim. So we're asking for that total $4,000 good bond with no further contact and to stay away.
All right. Anybody wants to chime in for this case other than Public Defense Counsel? All right, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Hurd is 42 years old. And Your Honor, I saw the 26 CR 85B case. There was a return to sender because there was no unit number for her apartment. It was not written, so she did not get notice of hearing. That's why she had a failure to appear. She has a solid address. She's not a flight risk. She will come to the court when she actually gets the hearing notice. Your Honor, she graduated from high school here in Georgia. She was born and raised. She also had lots of trade work, education, and she has a lots of working experience as a carpentry, cosmetology, dental hygienist, respiratory care. Right now, she's going to seminary school, but she does not have any income other than odd jobs doing nails for her clients. She has three minor children, Your Honor, without any child support. She does not have any funds to make any payment for her bond. She denies the allegation, and her place, her daughter actually broke TV. There were 38 holes on the wall, and it was my client who was attacked first. So she was actually defending herself, and we asked for a signature on bond through a pretrial. However, we do understand that it may not happen because of open case here. We asked for the lowest possible security bond, $1,000 security bond. Thanks.
Right, on the battery, family violence is 2,000. On the simple battery is 500. This is a 2,500 surety bond. No further contact with Heaven Heard. And if Miss Heard does not live at the Fox Hunt location, then she may return there. She can go there with a police officer for a one-time visit to verify that Heaven Heard does not live there. If Heaven Heard is residing there, unfortunately, she would need to find a different place because she can't have any contact with this individual. If defects has been involved, then I will allow any contact and visitation or housing in accordance with how defects has set it forth. Next court date is April 16th, and we will address both cases, which is the current new case and 26 CR 000085B. Thank you.
Great. And Judge, I have been able to speak in the meantime with Attorney Chada Jimenez, if we wanted to address that very briefly.
Let me see first. Let's address those folks who are still in jail.
Okay.
Thank you. Who do we have next? Courtroom 2?
Number 1, Mr. Ajala.
Is that DeAndre Tyrell Jones? I've got one Jones on the calendar, position 15.
No.
Is that the one?
No, number 1.
Oh, number 1. Oh, okay. Ajala. Are you Mr. Ajala? Okay. Basit Dalapo Ajala is accused of disorderly conduct, simple battery, and willful obstruction of an officer from case 26 CR 2174C. Mr. Ajala, do we have any priors on him, Ms. Tolba?
No, Your Honor, no prior history. Recommended UTR jail.
All right. First arrest. Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge. 6 different officers responded to this location, 367 Edgewood Avenue, about a dispute. They were met by security that were attempting to remove him due to behavior towards a female customer. Once outside, he tried to re-enter, including climbing the security doors and jumping off. He pushed Mr. Ali, that security guard, and would not cooperate with the officers by locking his arms, laying on his hands, and not following commands. Although this is his first arrest, the bond has already been set on the warrants at a $3,000 surety, $1,000 on each. We would just ask that the bond remain as set.
I noticed that he's got a hold as well. Go ahead, Mr. Elvis.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Ajala is 28 years old. He's been living here in the U.S. for the past 9 months. He's living here with his wife, and he is a foreign national. However, he is at this point in time working on a visa petition by way of his wife, who is a U.S. citizen. He does have an address to which he can return to, and that's the 525 Ruth Drive address. That's Woodstock, Georgia, 30811. He's been living there since he's been living here in Georgia for the past 9 months. He did graduate high school and university, albeit in the UK, Judge. He is at this point in time working as an artist. He is doing that freelance, Judge, on his own. And as the lady pretrial mentioned, he does have no prior history. We would ask for the court to grant the UJR recommendation. However, in the alternative, we'd ask the court to keep the bond as said if it's not inclined to grant a UJR.
Is this a restaurant facility, CRU? Okay. On the disorderly conduct, that's going to be 1,000. On the simple battery, that's going to be 1,500, and the willful obstruction is 1,000. This is a 3,500 signature bond through pretrial services, level 2. He would need to report to pretrial twice a month. He's to stay 200 yards away. That's the length of 600 feet, and I don't know how much that is in meters, but y'all figure it out. But he's required to stay that far away from this establishment, CRU, at 367 Edgewood Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia. He's to have no further contact with, is it Anisha Scott?
Correct.
Okay. And he's not allowed to possess any firearms, not allowed to consume any alcohol, and also no illegal drugs, including marijuana. Unfortunately, he does have a federal hold, so I'm going to reset this case to April 16. Mr. Ajala, if you do resolve your hold, you'll be required to report to pretrial services twice a month. Failure to report will result in a bench warrant for your arrest. Thank you.
Next is position 25, Ms. Straoud.
There we are. Nakaria Latrice Straoud is accused of battery, family violence, cruelty in third degree, and criminal trespass causing damage to property from March 31st of this year. Accusation 26 CR 2173C. Any priors?
No prior history. Recommended UJR jail.
Mr. Throttle?
Yes, Judge. This was the March 31st incident at Legacy Ridge Apartments. That's at 5750 Buffington Road in Atlanta. The victim's name is John Boson. The defendant's the mother of his child, and there was a dispute over cheating allegations. He was sleeping on the couch. She took and threw his phone at him, and then proceeded to strike him in the lip. Bruising to the right corner of his lip was observed by the officer. Also, he reported that she had damaged his computer monitor, roughly $400 in value at his approximation, which the officer observed as well. We are fine with a signature bond through pretrial services. We would ask for, in lieu of that, at least FFIB or anger awareness here. No further contact with John Boson. We have not been able to speak with him, so we would ask for this out of an abundance of caution and also out of this being a recent incident without a sufficient cooling off period, especially given the cheating allegations here. Stay away from the Legacy Ridge Apartments, 5750 Buffington Road in Atlanta. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bonds. And I did forget to mention that this took place in the presence of their 2-year-old daughter, juvenile WB. If we could sound for Mr. Boson.
Mr. Boson, if you want to chime in, please start your video and unmute. Okay, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 27 years old. And Your Honor, we have no objection to signature on bond through pretrial level 1. She is, I don't think that she has to, she's the one who has to take the classes here.
Does she live in Jackson, Georgia?
Yes, Your Honor. She does live at 506 Range.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So she does not live at 5750 Buffington Road at all. She has no objection to stay away, no contact. It was my client who was choked by the complaining witness, and she was defending herself. However, here she is at the jail. It is actually the other party who has to be taking FVAP course, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. For the battery family violence, that's going to be 2,000. The cruelty is going to be 500, and the criminal trespass is going to be 1,000. This is a 3,500 signature bond through pretrial services level 2, and this will be for a 12-month monitoring. She's to have no further contact with John Boson. She's to stay entirely away from the entire apartment complex at Legacy Ridge at 5750 Buffington Road. No contact with John Boson means that she's to stay 200 yards away from him, not communicate with him in any way, form, or manner, and definitely not on social media. If the child has not been legitimated, then Mr. Boson will need to file a legitimation case to get a parenting plan. Otherwise, parenting can be done, but only through a third party. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, thank you.
Manager number 17, Mr. Bolton Johnson.
Shaquille Moulton Johnson is accused of 2 counts of battery family violence and 1 count of obstructing or this person from making an emergency phone call. Ms. Stallworth, any priors? Oh, I'm sorry, his accusation is 26 CR 2157D. Sorry about that, Ms. Stallworth.
Yes, Your Honor. He has 3 cycles, 2 from the state of Florida. There is an open case out of Monroe County, Georgia for receipt, possession, or transport of firearm. Currently on probation out of Leon County, Florida for battery, aggravated battery, person uses deadly weapon, and obstructing justice. The recommended level is level 3.
Mr. Scirocco?
Yes, Judge, this will be my case.
Okay.
Yes, so I did want to first address this incident date is December of 2022. However, we do have evidence that he left the state. As you know, OCGA 17-3-2 does say that the statute of limitations doesn't apply when he's not usually a resident of this state. You did hear the conviction for aggravated battery, hindering a 911 call, and regular battery, as well as he's still wanted for a probation violation out of Florida. So we do believe there is significant time that he spent in Florida. As far as this case, victim Miss Reina Navarro stated that she was assaulted by her boyfriend at the time, this defendant. They were at a friend's house when he slapped her with an open palm multiple times because he saw her texting during the party. He grabbed her phone, went through it, grabbed her by both arms, threw her against the wall, and slapped her at least 30 times. She did not contact police at that moment because he had her phone and threatened that if she told anyone about it, he would kill them. She said she believed this because he owns several firearms and was in the Navy. Also has a few MH issues, so she was very scared. You did hear he's in has a warrant out of Monroe County for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. So for those reasons, we're asking for $2,500 on both of the battery family violence charges and $1,000 on the hindering 911. I believe that's a $6,000 bond with conditions no further contact with Reina Navarra, to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and that would be it.
And is the state's position that he fled the state to hide in Florida, or he fled the state because he had other criminal matters in Florida?
I'm not sure why he was in Florida, but the statute just says if the accused is not usually and publicly a resident within this state, then during that time the statute of limitations does not apply.
All right. And do we have any evidence to support that basis? Or are we just assuming?
So the fact that, well, we're going to look more into it to get those exact dates, but we're
Okay.
basing it based on his history out of Florida.
Understood. On each count, it's going to be 5,000. It's a signature bond through the jail. He's to have no contact with Rena Navarro. He's not allowed to possess or own any firearms. And if Ms. Navarro still bears any fear, please have her submit a petition for a protective order. But in the meantime, since I really don't have enough information to even support that basis, I'm going to go with the signature bond through the jail. If he has any holds, that's where he'll be sent. And then, of course, if the state prevails on keeping the case, even though it's more than 2 years old, then Mr. Morton Johnson, you'll be required to report back to Fulton County. And please don't violate the conditions of your bond. Thank you. Next case.
Hey, Mr. Gilstrap. Right.
Gilstrap. Stephen Antonio Gilstrap is accused of 2 counts of simple battery family violence from February 14th of this year. Case is 26 CR 2163L. Mr. Gilstrap, you've been advised of your rights, and Ms. Stallworth, what are we looking at?
2 adult cycles. There is an open case 26 PI 002624 for criminal damage to property, 2nd degree, death by receiving stolen property, driving without a valid license, and possession of tools for commission. Recommended UJR jail.
Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge, we're asking for a $1,500 good bond on each count for a total of $3,000 with conditions no further contact with Janiyah Jimerson and a requirement of a third-party transfer of any children. In this incident, Ms. Jimerson, the victim, was picking up her child from her child's father, the defendant. He asked to come spend the night, and she said no. So he became angry and punched her in the face and then choked her. She did not have any marks, loss of consciousness, and she did refuse Grady, but she also let the officers know there have been several incidents of domestic violence that just have not been reported. So for those reasons, we're asking for that $3,000 good bond with no further contact and third-party transfer of the child.
Are they married?
I
didn't think so.
No, I didn't have any notes that they're married.
As far as I know, Judge, as defense, I don't believe they're married.
Okay.
Correct, but they share the
Janiyah-
child.
Okay, Janiyah Jamerson. If you're present, please unmute, and if you want to say anything, this would be the time to chime in. Okay, Mr. Alvis?
Yes, Judge, Mr. Gilstrap, after our conversation, is 25 years old. He's been living here in Georgia his entire life. He does reside at the address listed on the booking sheet, Judge. The address listed in the warrant as the incident location is not the booking address. That is 370 North Side, so we wouldn't be opposed to a stay away, Judge. He lives at that address, the 827, with his aunt. He has 1 child that he is actively co-parenting, Judge. He did graduate from high school, from Washington High School in 2018. He has also been gainfully employed for the past 5 years with ATL Peach Movers, Judge. We would ask for a bond as reasonable as possible to be set in this matter. We'd ask for a bond to not exceed a total amount of $5,000, Judge.
Okay. On each count, there's going to be 2,000. This is going to be a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial services, level 3. He will report to pretrial once a week. He's to have no further contact with Janiyah Jamerson and no contact with any child or children that he shares with her. If he wishes to have a parenting plan with any children that he shares with her, he must file a separate legitimation case and get a court order for a parenting plan, at which time Ms. Jamerson can also counter for child support. In the meantime, if he lives at 55 Maple, was it Street or Avenue? I can't recall.
55 Maple Street.
Okay, I don't believe she lives there, so he can return to the property, but he needs to maintain 200 yards away from her and not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. Do you have a question? You want to speak to your attorney? Yes. All right.
Mr. Gilstrap, we're being recorded. I would advise you to hold off and not make any statements in open court. This entire matter is being recorded.
All right. So his next court date will be set to his current mailing address. If he violates the conditions, his signature bond will be revoked and he will be arrested again. Thank you.
Your Honor, how long for the monitoring?
12 months.
12 months.
Once a week for 12 months.
Number 6, Mr. Davis.
Sorry. Which position are we at?
Number 6, Mr. Davis.
Okay. Michael Howard Davis Jr. is accused of simple battery family violence since April 1st of this year. Case number is 26 CR 2147G. Any parts?
Yes, Your Honor, he has 24 prior arrests. There is an active warrant out of Palmetto for simple assault. Date of that warrant was March the 19th of 2026. There's a 2021 conviction out of Coweta County for possession and use of drug-related objects. Another 2021 conviction also out of Coweta for simple battery and criminal trespass. A 2024 battery from Fulton. A 2022 possession of methamphetamine and theft by shoplifting from Coweta. 2 2019 convictions out of Coweta for willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. A 2017 out of Fulton for willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. And a 2017 conditional discharge for possession of marijuana less than an ounce out of Coweta. Recommended level is level 3. And there's a 2021 FTA and 2019, both out of Coweta.
Thank you. And 2019 FTA. Okay, got it. Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge. We're going to be asking for a $3,000 cash bond in this case. If you're not inclined to give a cash bond, then no less than a $6,000 good bond with no further contact with Jillian Davis, to stay away from 615 Main Street in Palmetto. That's where Miss Davis works. And then to stay away from 401 Carlton Road. I believe that's the incident location.
And that's also in Palmetto?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In this incident, the defendant came to the location because he was looking for scrap metal that he had behind his business. The victim saw him coming towards her and took a box cutter and went upstairs. He followed her and grabbed her. There was no cameras in the basement, but there was a video showing her standing in the door facing him and showing him approach her from behind to grab her. Then there was a struggle. He pushed her. She pushed back, so he struck her with his elbow and ran off. The mother, Miss Hinson, stated that the victim was just standing there. It made the defendant mad, so he went after her and started fighting. We are recommending this cash bond based on the history, as well as we have spoken with the victim. Based on what she said, I do not believe she's going to be on the Zoom today. But we are asking for that $3,000 cash bond. If not cash, then a $6,000 good bond with no further contact and to stay away from those 2 locations.
He's got a probation hold, 23 CR 003514. I don't know what the probation case number is, but go ahead, Mr. Elvis. Please unmute.
My apologies, Judge. Yes, we're aware of Mr. Davis's probation case number, Judge. I believe that's 23 CR 003514Y. And with that being said, Judge, my client is 27 years old. He's been living here in Georgia his entire life. He does reside at the address listed on the booking sheet, Judge, which I believe is the 501 Carlton Road apartment 3C address in Palmetto, Georgia. He lives there with his mother and his grandmother, Judge. He does have his entire family here in the state of Georgia. He is also airlift certified, and prior to his arrest was working on his forklift certification, Judge. The incident itself, based on my conversation with my client, was a family business, Judge, where both individuals, my client and the alleged victim in this matter, do from time to time work. I make that known to the court so that it does with that information as it sees fit. However, he is also a regular attendant of the Palmetto Methodist Church that he attends with his grandmother and with his grandfather, Judge. We'd ask for a good bond to be set, a surety bond. We would ask for an amount to not exceed $5,000, Judge.
Is there anyone here on Zoom for Mr. David? Yeah, Mr. Davis. No? Okay. Bond is going to be set at $4,500. It is a surety bond. No further contact with Jillian Davis. No further contact. He's to stay away from the entire business at 615 Main Street, Palmetto, Georgia. And he's to stay away from the Colton Road location if that's where Miss Davis lives as well. If Miss Davis patronizes the same church or the same shops in Palmetto, he's required to stay away from all these locations. His next court date is going to be April 16th.
Number 12, Mr. Hardy. Shut up.
I'm sorry, Miss Tucker, what position number was that?
12.
12. Taekwon Diego Harden is accused of theft by receiving stolen property, misdemeanor charge. Court date is, the incident date is October 3rd of last year. Case number is 26 CR 2183E. Ms. Smallwood?
There are 2 cycles. There's an open case out of Coweta County for simple battery, family violence, arrest date October the 24th of 2025. There's also an open case from the city of Atlanta for possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Arrest date is June the 13th of 2024. Recommended level 2.
Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge. In this case, the victim, Eric Ward, was tricked into paying for an apartment that didn't exist by Quintisha McDowell, but she had this victim send multiple payments to the defendant's Cash App. However, there's no violence in this incident. I'm not sure how much influence Quintisha McDowell had. So we're fine with a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2 with conditions no further contact with Eric Ward.
$5,000 signature bond through pretrial services level 2, no contact with Eric Ward. And Mr. Hardy, please report to pretrial services twice a month. If you get arrested again for anything else, Ms. Young, if you could, yeah. If you get arrested again for anything else, or if you violate these conditions, your bond will be revoked. Thank you.
It's 12-month monitoring.
No, 6.
6.
Number 2, Mr. Babcock.
Condition 6.
No, please, 2.
I'm sorry?
2.
2. Braxton Babcock is accused of criminal trespass and misdemeanor obstruction of an officer from April 1st of this year. Case 26 CR 2176G. Ms. Tallman? I'm sorry, you're muted?
My apologies. He has 5 cycles total, 2 from the state of Florida. He's currently on probation. Case number 25 CR 008164G for criminal trespass. There's also an open case out of DeKalb County for theft of services disorderly conduct, and simple battery. He's also on probation, case number 25CR 005243G for theft of services. The recommended level is level 2.
Thank you. Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge. Based on that history, I cannot recommend a signature bond. I'm asking for $1,000 good bond in this case, with a social worker visit for any potential BHET or any ADET issues, and to stay away from Clark Atlanta University properties. In this case, he was in the Clark University gymnasium, was told multiple times not to be there. He knew not to be there. They tried to arrest him and he refused and obstructed. So we're asking for that $1,000 good bond in this case with a social worker visit and to stay away.
Albus?
Yes, Judge. Mr. Babcock is 32 years old. He's been living here in Georgia for approximately a year. Unfortunately, he does not have an address to which he could return to, Judge. He is living here on his own. However, he does have 2 minor children, one that is 1 and one that is 2, that he does help maintain financially, Judge. He did graduate from high school in 2009. He is a licensed pest control technician. However, he is currently in between jobs. He does have an interview this week with Walmart and another one with Red Pest Control, Judge. While I understand the trepidations of the state, I believe given the fact that my client has a fairly comparatively sparse criminal history, Judge, and 2 minors to look after, Judge, I would ask for the court to grant as low a bond as it sees fit in this matter.
Okay. On the criminal trespass, that's a $50 cash bond. On the willful obstruction, that's a $50 cash bond. This is a $100 cash bond. Stay away from the entire Clark Atlanta University at 620 Fair Street. And no illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. And I'm not sure what's going to happen to his 2 open probation cases. Next court date, April 16. Thank you.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes, Ms. Deborah Milton.
Ms. Wilson, Khadijah Wilson. I think I forgot her position number. She is going to be reset behavioral.
Okay, let me see. Ms. Wilson is position 32. So she'll be reset tomorrow, which will be 4/4/2026 at 2 p.m. This is a behavior reset, so there are no riverside issues. Thank you, Deputy Milton. You have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Number 7, Mr. Feltus.
Joshua Feltus is accused of 3 counts of simple battery family violence from April 1st, 2026, case 26 CR 2180F. Ms. Talbot?
He has 3 cycles. There's an open pretrial case. There will be a bond surrender 26 CR 000501F, criminal trespass and damage to property, as well as simple battery family violence. He's also currently on probation out of Clayton County for possession of firearm or knife during commission and possession of a Schedule 1. That arrest date was June the 10th of 2025. The recommended level is level 3.
Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge. You did hear he has that 2026 simple battery against this same victim, where he slammed her head on the ground, hit her with a metal cup. You did give him a pretrial release in that case, and here we are back again. So we are asking for $2,000 good on each count for a total of $6,000, with conditions no further contact with Shondette Watkins, to stay away from her location at 2370 Metropolitan Parkway, which is in the apartment complex of Santa Fe Village, as well as no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. In this case, Miss Watkins was in the bathroom. The defendant came into the house without her permission, pulled her off the toilet, started forcefully going through her pockets looking for money. She tried to get away and he punched her in the face. He then grabbed her and tossed her across the room. The apartment was in complete disarray per the officers, and leasing office personnel could hear her screaming for help. You did hear that history, not only the history here in Fulton, but the violation of probation in Clayton and a possession of firearm in Clayton. So we are asking for that $6,000 total good bond, no further contact, and to stay away from this location.
Mr. Elvis?
Yes, Judge. Mr. Feltus is 22 years old. He's been living here in Georgia his entire life. He does reside at the address listed on the booking sheet, Judge. He will live there with his father. He did achieve his GED. Unfortunately, at this point in time, he is not able to maintain a stable job due to some MH concerns, Judge. We'd ask for any reasonable bond the court's inclined to grant in this matter.
All right, thank you. On each count of the simple battery family violence, that's going to be 500. This is going to be a $1,500 cash bond only. His signature bond from the prior case is surrendered, so that's a $4,000 surety bond. Both cases are going to be further notice to April 16. Same conditions, no contact with Shondette. Was it Wortham?
Watkins.
Watkins, okay. Stay away from the same location at Metropolitan Parkway. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. And we'll see him on April 16th. Thank you.
Number 15, Ms. Jones.
DeAndre Terrell Jones is accused of 2 counts of simple battery family violence, 1 count of simple assault family violence, and 1 count of hindering a person from making an emergency. Oh, excuse me, it wasn't hindering, it was a harassing communications. And this is from February 28th of this year, case number 26 CR 2168G. Any priors, Ms. Tolman? Is Ms. Stallworth still? There she is. Okay.
My apologies, Your Honor. Is this Mr. Jones?
Yes, position 15.
Okay, Mr. Jones has 26 cycles, 1 out of the state of Florida. There's an active warrant, Oglethorpe County for probation violation. Date of that warrant is December the 5th of 2023. There's an active warrant out of DeKalb, also for a probation violation. Date of that warrant is December the 29th of 2025. There's an open case out of Clayton County for terroristic threats and acts. Also currently on probation out of DeKalb for receipt, possession, or transport of firearm. There's a 2023 NOLO for driving while license suspended or revoked, a 2025 FTA out of DeKalb, 2024 out of Richmond County, 2023 out of Oglethorpe County, and then there are 2 2018 convictions, 1 out of Richmond, driving while license suspended or revoked, 1 out of Jefferson County for possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and driving while license suspended or revoked. There are 4 convictions, 2016 convictions out of Richmond County and Wilkes County for driving while license suspended or revoked and simple battery family violence. And then there are 3 convictions outside of the 10-year period. The recommended level is level 4 ISP, nothing further.
Mr. Scirocco?
Yes, Your Honor, and I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I heard this, but I did see what appeared to be a conviction for simple battery out of Florida 2021.
Yeah, she mentioned
okay.
it.
All right. But there's that as well. There is the DeKalb case that he is currently out on probation for. He was as part of his probation, he's required to do ADET and submit to random screens. And we have here another incident involving alcohol. You've of course heard his 2016 prior NOLO and conviction for 2 separate simple battery family violence cases. This was the February 28th incident, 24 Chapel Road in Atlanta, the apartment complex. One of the victims here, Miss Monshanique Mitchell, defendant is her boyfriend. They've been living together. He receives mail at the residence. He had come home after consuming alcohol. And the son of Miss Mitchell. I believe he actually is 18 at this point. Marshawn Mitchell, and he tried to intervene, and the defendant began calling him derogatory remarks and stated that Mr. Mitchell couldn't fight. But essentially, the defendant came around what I have here as three different instances in the same day of throwing items and um, physical violence against Miss Mitchell here, grabbing her arm, mushing her face, pushing her onto a couch. Kept leaving, coming back, throwing various things. It apparently kicked the door off its hinges, rendering it inoperable, and had sent numerous text messages to her phone that day stating she did not deserve to have children and that he wished that she and her children would die. She did kept saying to the officer that she feared the defendant would return and kill her. Um, we did speak with Miss Mitchell. She and the defendant were together for 7 to 8 months, roughly, and lived together for that amount of time. She states they are no longer together and they have not been since the incident. They don't share children. Marshawn's not a shared child here. The victim says the defendant's phone kept ringing and she answered, and the caller was a woman who told her that the defendant and the caller were together. She had packed the defendant's things, woke him up and told him to leave. And that's what this proceeded from here. This incident scared her. It's never happened before. And she says there's been very little contact since the incident and that she's okay with no further violent contact and no need for a stay away because the defendant does not know where she lives. The I believe she has moved since the incident here. The With his history, multiple violent convictions, family violence in nature, clear drug, substance abuse issues, we are very, very concerned for her safety if he does happen to find her. I don't think the anonymity of the address here is necessarily going to protect her long term. We are concerned for her safety, but especially right now. The state's recommendation with his history is going to be an $8,000 total surety. We're recommending $2,000 for each count here, as well as FFIB, no further contact with Monshanique Mitchell and her son Marshawn. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol, and we are recommending random screens for drugs and alcohol on account of his history here, Judge. If we could sound for the victims in this case.
Miss Mitchell, if you're on Zoom, this is the time to unmute and chime in. All right, Mr. Alvis.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Jones is 33 years old. He's been living here in the state of Georgia his entire life. He did previously reside at the 24 Chapel Road address, Apartment B, Judge. However, at this point in time, I do not have a separate address to which I could provide to the court. Nonetheless, Judge, he does have one daughter that is 13 and that Mr. Jones is the sole provider for. He is also currently gainfully employed working with Kubota. He's been working there specifically for the past 5 years, Judge. He is also forklift certified, Judge. He's been certified for the past 8 years, and that is part of his employment at Kubota, Judge. He is also suffering from various health ailments, but specifically mentioning the bullet fragments that are in his legs due to a prior gunshot wound, Judge. He is a practicing Muslim. He does regularly attend mosque at the West End, Judge, and he does participate in many of their community givebacks, feeding the homeless at his mosque, Judge. I would ask for any bond the court finds reasonable in this matter.
Okay, thank you. This is going to be a split bond. Count 1 is $1,500 surety. Count 2 is $1,500 surety, and count 3 is a $1,000 surety. That's going to be a $4,000 surety bond. On count 4, harassing communications, that's a 3,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 3. He will report to pretrial services once a week, and this will be for a duration of 12 months. He will also be subject to random screens for illegal drugs and alcoholic beverages. If he consumes any alcoholic beverages or consumes any illegal drugs and he fails to screen, his bond will be revoked. There will be a minimum once a month mandatory screen to make sure that he's not consuming either of these substances. He's to have no further contact with Miss, I think her name is Munchnek Mitchell. And he'll need to provide us with a valid residential address in order to proceed with pretrial. Next court date is going to be April 16th. Thank you.
Number 5, Mr. Colton.
I will ask you what my total was.
I told you. Now we gotta listen what she was saying.
She said total, then you said 3.
Number 5, Mr. Colton.
5. Dennis Colton is accused of simple assault, family violence, simple battery, family violence, and willfully obstructing law enforcement from a March 30th, 2026 incident, accusation 26 CR 2179K. Ms. Talbot?
One moment, Your Honor. My apologies. I can't find my
No
notes.
problem. He's position 5.
Position 5. Okay. Copy. I'm sorry. He has 1 cycle. He has an active warrant out of Palmetto for simple assault. Date of that warrant is March the 30th of 2026. And he also has an indicted case out of Coweta for terroristic threats and acts. It was indicted on October the 15th of 2025. The recommended level is level 2.
Ms. Burke?
Yes, Judge, we're asking for a $2,000 good bond on the simple battery and $1,000 on each of the other counts for a total of $4,000, with conditions no further contact with Debbie Peppers and to stay away from this location at 501 Carlton Road in Palmetto, as well as a social worker visit for potential MH issues. The facts in this case allege that the victim, Ms. Peppers, indicated her son, the defendant, pushed her, then went outside as he was taking her car. He then ran the car backward towards her, or no, he ran back towards her. She slammed the door to try to keep him from harming her because she was in fear for her life at this time. Witness Matthew Sinkfield lives there as well, heard the commotion, and he was afraid that this defendant was going to hurt Ms. Peppers. He defended her by grabbing his gun and asking the defendant to leave. There was another witness present, Madison, who said she swatted the defendant away as he tried to attack Miss Peppers. So multiple people had to fight him off of her. He did not follow commands and he ran from the officers in the woods. Considering the violence alleged in this case, as well as he's under indictment for terroristic threats, I didn't hear if it was felony or not, but we would be asking for that $4,000 total good bond, no further contact, and to stay away from this location, as well as the social worker visit.
Mr. Alex?
Yes, Judge. Oh, my apologies, Judge. I'm having computer difficulties. Judge, Mr. Colton is 26 years old. He's been living here in the state of Georgia his entire life, Judge. He does reside at the booking address listed in Palmetto, Georgia, Judge. He has been living there since he was 12 years old. He lives there with his mother and his siblings, Judge. He did graduate from Creekside High School in 2018. Unfortunately, at this time, he is not currently employed. He does, however, attend church in Fairburn off Sonoya Road, Judge. He's been attending there for the past couple weeks, Judge. We'd ask for any reasonable bond the court is inclined to grant in this matter.
On each count is going to be $1,500. This is a $4,500 surety bond. Stay away from 501 Carlton Road in Palmetto, Georgia. No contact with Debbie Peppers and was it Matthew Sinkfield?
Yes.
No contact with Debbie Peppers and Matthew Sinkfield. His next court date will be April 16th. Thank you.
11, Mr. Harden.
Harden. Roderick Lewis Harden is accused of criminal trespass from April 2nd of this year, case 26 CR 2182L. Ms. Talbot?
Yes, Your Honor. He has 28 cycles. He's on probation, case number 26 CR 003064, from the city of Atlanta for theft by shoplifting, sentence date March the 11th of 2026. Another probation case, 24 SC 005393, possession of methamphetamine and loitering ordinance. Another probation case out of Fulton for criminal trespass, theft by taking and entering auto. A first offender probation out of Clayton County for willful obstruction of law enforcement officer, aggravated assault and giving false name. A 2023 conviction from Morrow for theft by shoplifting. Another probation case, 23 SC 188302, theft by taking and entering auto. A 2024 conviction for criminal trespass out of Fulton. A 2025 NOLA from Clayton for criminal trespass. A 2026 NOLA from Clayton for criminal trespass.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge. Considering that history, I believe the risk of reoffense is very high. We're asking for $1,000 good bond with conditions to stay away from MARTA in accordance with any MARTA suspensions. In this case, he was found on a MARTA bus. He did have a suspension that began on April 1st. It expires May 31st. So that's 60-day suspension he violated.
Thank you. Mr. Elvis?
Yes, Judge. Mr. Harden is 36 years old. He's been living here his entire life, Judge. He does have an address that he could return to, which is a 2301 Godby Road address. That's in Atlanta, Georgia, apartment D32. He lives there with his mother and his girlfriend, Judge. He's been there for approximately 2 years. He does have one 5-year-old child that lives with their mother. However, he does actively co-parent with the mother, Judge. He did achieve his GED. He is also forklift certified. He's been certified for the past 2 years, Judge. However, at this point in time, he is scheduled to begin his employment with Caterpillar Construction at the end of this week, Judge. It is the client's personal request that a UJR be granted in this matter. However, if the court's not inclined, I'd ask for a bond to not exceed a total amount of $4,000 in this matter, Judge. He is a regular attendant of the Homeless Industries Ministries, and he has also been volunteering there for the past 3 years, Judge.
The $75 cash bond, stay away from all MARTA property, including buses, trains, and stations. And he cannot use MARTA in accordance with any active suspension. Thank you. Next court date is April 16th. I'm sorry, unmute courtroom 2. Mr. Harden, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you.
Mr. Harden, I would advise you to not speak. This meeting is being recorded with the Solicitor General on the call. I would advise you to not make any statements at this.
Pay $75. That's what I'm trying to get a UGR bond. I'm not gonna have a job. It's gonna be a recurring cycle. Y'all don't help me get out of here.
Mr. Harden, your criminal history record indicates that under the ALA practice, you have, let me finish. You have demonstrated a very high likelihood to reoffend. The bond is reflective of this criminal history record.
Going off my past. And not my present. Why do y'all go off the past?
Mr. Harden, I advise you to not speak anymore on this matter, Mr. Harden.
I am gonna speak. You're not speaking. You advise me. I'm an own lawyer as well.
Deputy, we are done with this case. You will have this opportunity in court. Thank you.
Number 4, Mr. Burke. Shut the fuck up. She's gonna be quiet. You don't want me out. Get out. Get out. Let's go. You supposed to be quiet. Give me this card. Let the judge tell me be quiet, but he telling me. Okay. I'm like, no, you supposed to be quiet. I'm fucking stupid or something. Yeah, number 4, Mr. Burke.
Deputy, should we take a moment?
Oh, no, we good. Number 4, Mr. Burke.
Okay. Demarcus LeBron Burke is accused of simple battery and simple assault case number 26CR 2178Y from April 2nd of this year. Ms. Tallworth?
No prior adult history. The recommended level is level 1.
All right, thank you. Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge, we're asking for a $2,000 good bond on each count for a total of $4,000 with conditions no further contact with Philip Reese and to stay away from the Foundation of Hope located at 829 Hollywood Road, Northwest. Philip Reese was helping as a pastor at a youth program. He took the young males to go cut grass at a residence. He told them to get in the vehicle, even though the defendant said the job wasn't done. So when they got back to the Foundation of Hope, this defendant went to his car, got his gun, and started arguing with Mr. Reese. He did not point it directly at him, but he did subsequently slap him in the face. So for these reasons, this is pretty extreme, even though it's very, he doesn't have a lot of history. But considering these facts, we're asking for total $4,000 good bond, that no further contact, and stay away.
You've got a birthday next week. Okay. Is there anyone on Zoom here on behalf of DeMarcus LeBron Burke? Mr. Alvis, how old is your client? Is he 20 years old?
Judge, he's 19 years old at this point.
19. Okay. Yes, sir. And what would you like to tell me?
Judge, I'd ask the court to grant the recommendation made by the state. I can move forward with argument nonetheless.
Okay. So it'll be, what was it? 2,000 on each count?
Correct.
$4,000 surety bond. Next court date is April 16th. No contact with Philip Reese and stay away from the Foundation of Hope. Thank you.
Number 25, Mr. Straoud.
Okay.
Straoud.
I'm sorry, Deputy, you did say Straoud, right?
I believe the confusion, Your Honor, is coming from, we have not accused this case. We sent a felony transfer request and we are still waiting to hear back from the DA's office. It's not a Riverside issue to hear it tomorrow.
May I have a booking number?
Almost hung up by accident.
May I have a booking number?
605 706.
2605 706.
Your Honor, this is still a misdemeanor, so I would like to request that we get the bond as a misdemeanor, Your Honor.
Okay, I don't know if I got the correct booking number, so let's see. I heard 2605 706. Would that be correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Tommy Straoud. There is another Straoud, female Straoud, but her name is Nikiria.
Okay.
Yeah,
Currently, I see there's a warrant against Mr. Tommy Straoud. Mr. Straoud, I'd like to remind you that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney if you cannot afford one. Currently, Ms. Kim from the Public Defender's Office will be representing you. There is a warrant issued for your arrest, and the charge is battery, family violence. Presently, this case has not been accused by the Solicitor General, and the prosecutors indicate that they're seeking a felony transfer to the Superior Court of Fulton County. Your warrant number is EW-0525157, involving one Keosha Adams from an incident date of March 13th, 2026 at Northside Parkway. Ms. Tallworth or Mr. Scirocco, since this case is not on the calendar, does the prosecutor have his GCIC?
I have it. It was on the pull sheet.
All right.
There are 35 prior arrests. There's a 2018 conviction for DUI out of Fulton, a 2019 out of Fulton for theft by deception, 2018 out of Fulton for following too close and reckless driving, 9 convictions outside of the 10-year period, and an 04 and two 03 FTAs all out of Fulton. The recommended level was level 3.
Your Honor, the state hasn't accused this case, as you're well aware. There's no jurisdiction here at this time. If we don't hear back from the DAs as of tomorrow, it will be accused and heard tomorrow. There is no Riverside issue. He was booked, arrested April 2nd, 11:06 a.m., booked April 3rd, 1:35 a.m. We're well within the hours here, and the case will be heard tomorrow.
Okay. Ms. Kim, any objection to resetting it tomorrow since he's still within the 72-hour time frame?
I would like to object, and yet I will follow your discretion, Your Honor.
All right. I'm just reading the warrant. Sorry, I didn't see this one before, but I am going to reset this case. If it's addressed at the felony first appearance tomorrow, and if the Superior Court accepts it as a felony case, then they will set a bond. Otherwise, it will come back to the C calendar at 2 p.m. to be addressed as a misdemeanor. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
29, Mr. Travers.
Walter Travis is accused of battery, family violence, and 2 counts of simple battery, family violence on February 8th of 2026. Mr. Travis, you've been advised of your rights, and his accusation is 26 CR 2171A. Ms. Feltus?
No prior history, recommended UJR jail.
Okay. Mr. Scarapo?
Judge, this was the February 8th incident, 3460 Kingsborough Road in Atlanta, the apartment complex at that location. They made contact with the victim in this case, Mrs. Courtney Acree. She explained the defendant, her boyfriend, who had been living there with her for 3 years. He had returned from a night out very intoxicated. He approached her about wanting to have sex. She declined, and that upset him. He began to attack her, striking her all over her body. He also bit her finger, causing the skin to break and leaving a visible injury. And she stated when she was speaking with police that this wasn't the first time he has physically attacked her. But this is the first time she reported it to police. She was provided with a photo of the defendant and did identify him from that photo. We did speak with Miss Acree. She and the defendant, she states, have been living together for 4 years. They don't share children, and they're no longer together as a result of this incident. She states that they lived together for 3 years, and the two have been communicating since the incident. And her new residence, and because she moved, and her new residence doesn't allow pets, so the defendant has her pet. But she still has a few things at the home, and that's because of the length of their relationship and living together. She had a finger injury, she confirmed. She did not go to the hospital in this case. She states to us this is the first time she's ever seen the defendant like that, and that she's okay with no further violent contact and doesn't feel threatened or in fear, but this felt what seems like a lot more real on February 8th. We're concerned about reoffense here and the safety of the victim, given what she stated to police on the day of. I understand she cares for her pet, and they'll have to work out whatever custody issues there. But I mean, as of now, with the information that we have, we are concerned for her safety. We are recommending a $4,000 total surety. $2,000 on the battery family violence, $1,000 on the simple battery family violences each. We're recommending FFIB as well as no further contact with Ms. Courtney Acree, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond, and random screens for drugs and alcohol. As given her statements to us, we are not requesting a stay away, but we are requesting no further contact, Judge.
Okay. On the battery, it's going to be 2,000. On the simple battery, each is going to be 750. This is going to be a 3,500 signature bond through Free Trial Services Level 1. This will be for 12-month monitoring. No further violent contact with Courtney Acree, and he reports to pre-trial services once a month for the next 12 months. He is to complete 12 anger management classes. He can space them out to once a month or to twice a month, whichever he prefers. If there is any future physical or verbal altercations with Mr. Cree, or if he gets arrested again, this bond will be surrendered. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The gentlemen who are seated in the front row, this is a live stream proceeding. Please sit up straight with your legs together. Thank you very much.
You're going to waive cases now. We'll start with number 14, Ms. Jackson.
14, okay. Davion Jackson, is that a waiver?
Yes, Judge, that's correct. I did send in the paperwork to Ms. Champion.
Thank you. Davion Jackson's accused of theft by receiving stolen property from January 16th of this year. Accusation 26 CR 21858. Any crimes?
Yes, Your Honor. There are 6 cycles. There is an open case, 26 SC 000876 for armed robbery, aggravated assault, possession of firearm during the commission, and some street gang participation charges. Also currently on probation, case number 24 CR 004217A for theft by taking. Nothing further.
Okay.
Yes, Judge. You didn't hear the whole history. You did hear he has 6 total cycles. They're all from the past 3 years, and they are all theft related. Robberies, computer theft, theft by receiving, entering auto, burglary. So the risk of reoffense is just very high. We're asking for a $10,000 good bond with conditions no further contact with Pretensia Floyd. A stranger to the victim approached her in her car, asked her to donate to the South Fulton Lions team. She said she didn't have any cash, so the male snatched her phone from her hands and sent $750 to the defendant's phone number. So yeah, just based on that history, we're asking for that very high good bond. I don't believe that the victim identified the defendant as the one who snatched from her, but he certainly did. That is theft by receiving stolen property if his phone received the $750. So we're asking for that $10,000 good bond with no further contact.
Mr. Alvis?
Yes, Judge, Mr. Jackson is 19 years old. He's been living here in Georgia his entire life. He does have an address to which he could return to. That is not the address listed on the booking sheet. He resides now at 243 Laurel Circle in Atlanta, Georgia, Judge. He lives there with his mother. He does have his entire family here. He does have one child that is on the way. He, as per our conversation, is still currently attempting to complete his high school education, Judge. He does attend Mount Nemo Church, and he's been going there for the past 2 years. He does volunteer at that church, specifically as an usher, Judge. We would ask for a bond to not exceed a total amount of $5,000 in this matter, Judge.
All right, 5,000 surety. See him on April 16th. He currently has a 70,000 plus bond on his felony case. So unless he bonds out, we'll see him on the 16th. Thank you. And no contact with, who was the young lady who was crazy enough to lower her window?
Yes, Pretensia Floyd.
So yeah, there should be signs up down the street now. Okay, any other waivers okay, let me see. Let me just go to the calendar. Position 1, Ajala is a 3,500 signature bond pre-trial. Further notice to April 16th through to his federal hold. Position 2, Babcock is a $100 cash bond, reset April 16th. Battle is a $1,100 surety bond, reset April 16th. 4, Burke is a 4,000 surety, reset April 16th. 5, Colton's a 4,500 surety, reset April 16th. 6, Davis is a 4,500 surety, reset April 16th. Feltus is a $1,500 cash bond, reset April 16th. Gilstrap is a $4,000 signature bond to pretrial level 3. Terry Glenn, did we address that?
No.
No, he's the co-defendant of position 2. We addressed position 2 or 3. Yeah, he's the co-defendant of position 3. We addressed Mr. Battle, but not Mr. Glenn.
We'll address it tomorrow at 2 p.m. Sorry, Deputy, was there some? Okay. Xavier Glenn, position 10, that was a 5,500, 4,500, excuse me. No, it should be, sorry. Xavier Glenn, it was either 4,500 or 5,500 surety.
It should have been 5,500, 2K, 2K, 500, and 1K.
Okay, 5,500 surety, reset April 16th. 11 Harden is a $75 cash bond, reset April 16th. 12 Hardy is a 5,000 signature bond, pretrial, level 2, I believe.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 13 Hurd is a 2,500 surety, reset to April 16th. 14 Jackson is a 5,000 surety, reset April 16th. 15 Jones is a split bond. I believe it was a $4,000 split bond,
Yes.
or was it?
It was 4,000 good bond and 3,000 the last charge pre-trial.
So what's the total?
It was 7,000.
$7,000 split bond. Okay, position 16 was a $2,000 surety bond, reset April 16th. 17, Moulton Johnson is a $15,000 signature bond through the jail. 18, Rambus is a 3,500 signature bond to pretrial level 2. 19, Reese is a 3,500 surety bond, reset April 16th. 20 is a $100 cash bond, reset April 16th. 21, the Scott, $75 cash bond, April 16th. 22, Jakaya Snipes. Is that a reset or a waiver? Sorry, Ms. Kim, you're muted.
Yes, Your Honor. That one was bonded out, Your Honor.
Okay, so he's been released. So
Yes.
it's further noted. Calvin Stevens is a $1,000. Was it a cash bond?
Yes.
Okay. Reset April 16th. 24 Stevens is a 600 surety. Reset April 16th. 25 Straoud is a 3,500 signature bond for pretrial level 2. 26 Tatnel is a $50 cash bond, reset April 16th. 27 Taylor is a $1,000 surety, reset April 16th. I'm going to skip 28 for a minute. 29 Travis is a 3,500 signature bond for pretrial level 1. 30 Joshua Ware is a $6,000 surety, reset April 16th. 31 Watkins is a 6,000 surety, reset April 16th. 32 Wilson is reset to C calendar tomorrow, April 4th. Going back to position 28, Ladavius Thomas.
Oh, Your Honor.
Can I ask a quick question about before we proceed with another case? Is Jakaya Snipes definitely been released? I see still that there's an active booking.
I believe I have to double check. I may have made a mistake, Your Honor. Actually, the one with Thomas, he has to be definitely, he's incompetent to stand for trial.
Who?
Oh, sorry.
Thomas.
I'm sorry, Ms. Kim, who is incompetent to stand trial?
Mr. Thomas, let me get his first name.
Oh, Ladavius Thomas?
Yes, Ladavius Thomas.
Okay, so do you want to reset him to the competency calendar next Thursday?
Yes,
Your Honor, he's already on that calendar.
Yes.
We need to address bond on position 5. Ms. Champion, I'm pretty sure she was going to tell you about it.
Yeah, bond has been set on all the other charges and cases for him. This was an add-on theft where the victim, the victim's name was referenced in the this case that was presented Wednesday, but there wasn't a warrant for this arrest. And we didn't know the identity of the additional victim, Pankaj Jaluri.
I see.
So yeah.
Okay, on the theft by taking misdemeanor, that's the only charge remains that needs a bond, is that correct?
Yes,
Yes, Your Honor, count 5.
Okay, it's a 500 signature bond through the jail. No contact with Pankaj. What was the last name?
Pankaj Jaluri, Jalluri.
Your Honor, about Jakia Snipes, I see that the bond was posted on April 3, 2026.
Yeah, so Mr. Jakai Snipes has a $2,000 surety bond. There is an indication that alpha bonding is involved. And I don't know whether he's processing release, but if his bond is posted by alpha bonding, then then he'll be further notice. Otherwise, do you want me to reset it tomorrow in case he's not released?
Sure, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Young, let's reset Jakai Snipes to tomorrow. Pending his release.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so going back to Mr. Jimenez and Ms. Tucker, is there something I need to address?
Your Honor, would
Oh,
you?
Your Honor, how are you?
Excuse
Fine,
me, Your
thank
Honor,
you.
would
Did
like
you
for
just
me-
miss Miss?
You want me to cut off the YouTube?
Yeah.